For both of you had some late injuries that were kind of publicized. I don't expect you to get into specifics today, but what's the general health of both y'all's teams?
Well, I think our team's very healthy. We've obviously had a few guys that were banged up during the season, and some of those guys are not competing in the bowl. But overall, I feel like our team has had an opportunity to get back to where they were early in the season, and it's been good for them to get a break. But back at practice now, everybody seems to be fine.
That 11 straight weeks was very tough, Chuck. We had one open date and went 11 straight weeks of football, and that was pretty tough, and kind of took its toll on a few of our players. But we're back a lot better now. That time off was good, and then we're able to. This is going to be about our 16th or 17th practice, if you count the practice we had back home. So it's been good.
We had a question on the front, and then we'll move over to the left.
Coach Nutt, your team's kind of in a unique position. You were in the last Cotton Bowl in the old Cotton Bowl Stadium, the first one in the new Cowboys Stadium, and obviously you were here with Arkansas before the renovated Cotton Bowl. Just talk about the history of this game and just the difference you feel in just being part of this historic transition.
I'd say there's this special place in my heart for the Cotton Bowl. Rick Baker, the staff, and of course I think Finn and everybody will tell you, Rick and Charlie, that I was begging. I was really wanting to come back because of being the last team in the old, and to be able to be the team that comes into the new in the brand new stadium, and just the tradition. It's the tradition of this game. This bowl game is really, really special. But to me, it's gone to another level. We've always known about the hospitality. We always know the job that the AT&T Cotton Bowl. We always know the job they do. It's first class in every manner. But now you're at a different level, a different stage, as you mentioned before, and that question before about taking it to another level at a different stage. That's what you have now, and to have your players to be able to walk into a stadium and say, well, this is the stadium where all the great ones play. And that's where they want to play one day. They all want to play on Sundays, and so it's just to me a tremendous opportunity for both schools, but really especially for us to be able to close the old one and now come into the new one is really special.
We got a question on the front left.
Have you been able to determine yet how much you'll get from Donald Booker Saturday, and what kind of week of practice has Kendall Hunter had?
Well, Donald Booker's been he's practicing with us now, and Kendall Hunter is practicing just like it was the last couple weeks of the season. Both guys are out there running around, and just like everybody else. Yes. Donald's been back in practice and doing fine.
Boy, I hate to hear that.
Yeah. Well. We don't really know if that's the truth or not, though. Oh. Yeah. Oh. See, I got you on that one. That went back to the old playing days. We spent so many good times together when he was coaching wideouts and one-on-ones, when quarterbacks and wideouts, when we were working those DBs over down there back in the days when I was playing. It's been 25 years, right? 24 years. So
I think that's right. Yeah.
But
we've got a question here in the middle front. Right there. There you go.
For both you guys, I think nationally the perception is your programs are on the rise within your respective conferences and on the national scale as well. What would a win Saturday in this game do to kind of continue that process?
There's nothing like winning. And I think Mike would say the same thing, that winning helps everything. It helps recruiting. It helps your program. It helps the next thing. It helps the winter condition. It helps the 5:30 a.m., the weight workouts, the summer workouts, all those things. It just helps everything. There's nothing like winning. That's it.
I feel the same way. I don't think there's any question. It kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier, that there's a lot that goes into preparation for every game, whether it's week to week or a bowl game. And we demand a lot of our players, and you want them to have results, and results are to go out and play with great effort and find a way to win the football game. And I think they get a chance to experience that, and there's just nothing like an opportunity to walk off the field after you won a football game.
We've got a question. Somebody had their hand up just a moment ago. Oh, back in the back left-hand side.
For Coach Nutt, in what ways have you seen Jevin mature this season, and in what hasn't been as smooth of a year as I'm sure he hoped for at the beginning?
Jevin has always, when he is focused, when he is in tune, he can be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And I think starting out this year, he pressed a little bit. We had a couple of new guys at new positions. You lose a Michael Orr, you lose a Michael Wallace, and all of a sudden you get sacked early. Well, there's some thoughts going on, and when you're taking that snap, as both of us have, you take the snap, and sometimes you tend to look to make sure, is everybody going to get their job done, and it takes away from your eyes downfield. He got into a little bit of that, but I think they're towards the middle of the year, a lot like last year, really started focusing and just letting everybody do their job and understand you don't have to be Superman. Just distribute the ball to your teammates, take care, manage the game, take care of the ball. When he does that, he's a good quarterback.
We've got a question over on the right-hand side rear.
This is for Coach Nutt. Follow-up question to the one you just answered. You had some success bringing back Michael Orr for his senior season and the other players, the juniors, in your first season. How are you going to approach discussions with Jevin Sneed about the advantages of not going into the NFL draft and returning to Ole Miss? Just from a generic answer of how do you structure those type of conversations to weigh the advantages and disadvantages?
Well, I always try to talk to all the juniors that may be looking over the fence, but I try to talk to all of them about the future and about decision making. If they're in the top 10, 15, 20 picks, they probably should go. And we'll have that information. We'll have a good idea of what's going to happen there. Not 100%, but we'll have a very good idea. And I think they'll know that we'll be honest with them and get a lot of good information from professional people, the advisory committee, all the people that give us that information, and really sit down and, hey, let's do what's best for you. And again, I like recruiting guys that have the ability to come out their junior year. But right now, that's not been our focus, especially for Jevin. I told Jevin, don't want to talk about that until after our very, very last ball game. So we hadn't talked about this in 3 or 4 months. And that really goes to all our guys. But there's nothing wrong with a guy that's a junior that we had privilege to coach a Darren McFadden, a Felix Jones, and Michael Orr had that opportunity to come out. But in talking to Michael Orr, the information we got is, Michael, you're really going to be a mid-round pick. Come back one more year. It's going to be, we'll have you stronger, quicker, better. And it really worked out for Michael and Parade Jerry when you look at it. So that's the same type of conversation we'll have after the last game.